So in this video, I'm going to start a track from zero coming up next. Hey, what's up guys? Mayan here with another music production video. In this channel, you're going to find tips, tricks, unsalted reviews of music, gear, and anything regarding like the music creative process. So this is the beginning of a series of videos on how I make music, from starting with the groove into a finished track that is ready to send for mastering. So in this first video, I'm going to go over like my basic structure for drums and my synth sounds and how I start a track from zero. That track is going to develop into something that I would love to put out in a record label. All right, guys, well, let's get to the studio and let's get this thing done. First step, step one, it's always starting with the right hat. So I have a folder of hats that I usually use for my productions that I have used in different tracks in the past, so I know that they work. I actually just sequence them all in. Then I use an LFO to like move the balance, levels, and all this other stuff, so like it has some swing to it. And then this is how it sounds like. So as you can see, it has like a little bit of movement. And then after that, I go in for a kick that I like, that I know that it's going to work. Then I bring it in. So with these two things, right, I kind of like get moving a little bit. Okay, then, you know, I bring pedals in to see if I can like make synth sound a little bit different, a little bit more lush, straight out of the box, even though they have like their own, you know, like delays and reverbs. I like messing around with them because it's all about, for me, it's all about experimenting, right? You might make some mistakes that sound really cool. So there you go. That's how you bring all your tracks together. And at least that's the way that I like doing it. You know, I work with Logic. I am actually going to record using the multi-clock. You don't see it, but it's like right to the side. And the beauty about this is that even though I could like sample things to the octave track and build a track, I think that for me, that's a little bit more complicated when I'm wanting to make a track from scratch. So I need to record it directly to my DAW. So if I like something that I'm making, I record it right away. Let me show you guys. My project is pretty simple. We have kind of like a guide on plugins and like all that stuff here. And I do use a template, as you can see. Okay, so now that I have something set up that I like, all right, then I go ahead and I start tinkering with different sounds. So I'm gonna show you, I picked a couple of sounds already, so I'm not gonna bore you with like me choosing sounds and all this other stuff, right? This is pretty basic sound that I'm gonna use with the arpeggiator from the octave track, I think. So this is kind of like the basic melodic idea that I have in my head right now, after I tinkered around with some of the sounds. And then what I do is I bring in the hat and see how it sounds. Kick as well. So this is kind of like a groove that I can actually work with, right? Which I think is great. Sometimes it takes me longer, but this one just came straight out of the gates with it. So, okay. So after I started like messing around with this, I go to other sounds. So this is another sound that I chose. So it's gonna be a cool stab. It's gonna be even better when I add this reverb. So like it spreads it out a lot more. And I have this luscious pad that comes in later on in my idea of the track, right? So let's see what I have so far. So for me, this part right here just makes it easier to start a track. It's makes me want to move around. So what am I going to do next, right? I think I'm going to start with a stab here, because I think it's going to sound good. Yeah. And then I could even like, so I'm going to mute this. But yeah, if we put the two together, and obviously this is just an idea, right? It's going to evolve into something different, but I think that these two sounds do work well together. Let's see. And the other thing that I do is I actually use this crossfader. I take out, you know, the bottom end and the high end of the hat, just to see. The groove is there. I like it. And then when it's ready, when it's time, this gives me ideas for like later on in the track. So the next sound that I think is gonna go well with this track is actually this pad right here. So let's see how it goes. Yeah. So this gives me a pretty good idea of where I can take my track, where it should go when things are going to come in. So as you guys can see, my process is super simple. I start with a simple hat, you know, to just generate a little bit of shuffle. And then I get a kick going. And then after that, I start tinkering with sounds. And then after I have something that I would like to continue to make into a track, I start adding a little bit more synth sounds. And that starts generating in my head the idea on what I would want to do. So the next thing that I do is I get into recording what I'm playing. So my process is a little bit different. So I turn everything off, you know, like right now, pretty much just the hat, and I'm gonna record that in. And I record each track by itself. The reason why I like doing that is just it gives me more time to think of the ideas and how I'm going to tinker with them later on. So the next one that I'm going to actually record is going to be the kick to my octave track. Turn the hats off and just bring in the kick. Because later on we're going to develop the track. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Okay, so now after everything is recorded, the melody that I was playing as a dry signal, also as a wet signal. So that's actually going through the reverb. I'm gonna show you how it sounds dry. So Miguel, why would you record both? Well, I I think that later on I can actually like make the sound a little bit different if I need to, or if I just need to like is dry. And then, you know, like if I wanted to, you know, I could bring in, I don't know, let's see, the Valhalla vintage reverb and add way more reverb if I need to. So that's the reason why I record dry and wet sounds. Let me show you all the parts and how they sound after I recorded them through the different processes. So this was video 1 of the process. As you can see, something simple, but I think is going to be a really lovely track when it's done. Next week, I'm going to get into making bass lines and more percussive sounds and all the other good stuff. And then later on, as we progress, we're going to move on to like laying down the track and all this other good stuff. All right, guys, leave me some comments below and let me know what you think. All right, see you.